Hello and welcome, Dr. Leo, to Peter's Box. It's a pleasure having you. I know everybody knows Dr. Leo to be the very focused person with your advocacy and all that. But having met you, I know you're also bubbly. So today we're going to have some interesting discussions about what you do. First and foremost, Dr. Leo, is it correct if I call you a witch hunter?
Okay. Well, I think you can call me anything, but I would prefer you call me actually Doctor Witchcraft.
Dr. Witchcraft.
Yes.
Oh,
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. If there's any kind of witchcraft case, bring it to me.
ooh.
Yes, that's what I tell them in Nigeria. Instead of going to pastors and who collect money from them and even get them to kill somebody who should be alive, or beat up somebody who shouldn't even have been beaten, they should bring it to me. I used to tell them that how you have referrals. We have cases. So when I address NGOs, they said, I met this elderly woman. The woman looked like a witch. I said, refer the case to me. I'm the referral. So I have my doctoral degree in religious studies. I wrote my thesis on witchcraft accusation. Okay, yeah. So I prefer that, so that they could actually bring such cases to me, and by bringing such cases to me, of course, I will be able to help people who are in need. So if you call me Dr. Witch Hunt, it doesn't really resonate because I'm anti-witch hunt.
Oh, auntie. So
Yes.
it's not as if you are curing them
No,
of witchcraft.
no.
So you don't believe that they are witches? Is that the
You
case?
see. Look, this is a very interesting question. There are people in Europe who answer witches because they identify as witches because of their religion, because they are Wiccans, they are pagans, neo-pagans. Okay, they take the label just like you have Christians who believe in Christ, and also you have Muslims who believe in Allah and things like that. There are people like that, but you see, they don't fall into the narrative of people who fly out at night. Do you get what I'm saying? You see, this is a mix-up in the minds of many Africans. Okay? Now, I believe there are human beings who self-identify as witches. Now, go and ask those people. Do they fly out at night to go and have meetings in covers and drink blood? That's why it's no. So there are two narratives here. The narrative of people who identify as witches because this is what their religious identification requires, okay? And all that. And these are people who will tell you, just like they practice religion like every other religious person, okay? And all that, they maybe offer some prayers, make some incantations and all that. But there's a narrative, and which is a problematic one, of people who believe in Nigeria. They turn to anything, lizard, they turn to birds. And I think you told me, they said that they hung on a pole, electric pole. You tell that when they're going for meetings in the night, they crash land, that kind of thing. And if you want to crash land, you land on a pole. And you want to crash land, you crash land also in Nigeria. It means that you don't even have any flying powers. Because if you really have spiritual flying powers, a lot of Nigerians want to leave Nigeria today. Look at it, they're turning it difficult. They're going through the sea. So many got drunk. And you have the power to even fly spiritually. You will fly and crash land on a pole within the same country. I'm sure that person did not learn how to spiritually fly. The kind of thing. So what am I trying to say? You get all those narratives. That is it. I don't believe there are people who move out at night spiritually to go and either inflict harm or meet in covens or drink blood or cause accidents. I don't believe that people can turn into a goat like in Nigeria. I don't believe people can turn into birds, animals. So there's insects. There's anything the witch hunter says, okay, this is what the person uses to, carry out this stuff. That thing becomes a kind of a familiar, the witch familiar and all that. So I don't believe those things. And it is on that basis I deploy that non-belief as a resource in helping people who are victimized in the name of the belief. You can see how belief and non-belief, they play out in trying to help people who are persecuted, who are abused, who are killed, just because somebody wrongfully used the narrative I was talking to you to interpret a problem. And somebody who should be alive is killed. Somebody who should be cared for, like elderly people, sometimes who are, having dementia. We have a case in Nigeria. The woman just in the night, left the house, could not find her way back, and it was dark. So she walked into a church, and many of these churches with idol pastors and prophets looking for something that can give them attention and all that. So the prophetess started, prophesying that this the woman was a witch coming. So mobilized people. They started throwing stones at her. She was begging them, please, please. That was the only thing we could hear in the video and all that. But this way, throwing stones at her, beating her with a stick till eventually she passed away. You get it? And let me say, this is just one out of so many other cases. So, and I've been hearing this since I was born. And as a young person, you will be, okay, who knows? Like I'm as a young person. But you keep asking questions. You keep trying to know whether by any chance you could see any shred of evidence. So that you come out in the night, you still see birds flying, just like you come out during the day and you also see birds flying. I really have this idea. I say, we may not succeed in eradicating it, but we must make a statement as humanists.
Okay, so my question now would be, those who involve themselves in the violence and discriminations against so-called witches who have so-called supernatural powers, most of them do that because of either their culture or their religion. They've been influenced by that. Now, as a person who advocates against these kinds of practices, what would be that one thing you tell to someone who is convinced that witches do exist and they have these powers? What would you tell them to disabuse their minds of that notion they have?
You see, first of all, cultures and religions, they are not like sacrosanct. They are not something that you can change. Cultural belief, they change. Now, but some people have seen it that when they invoke culture, religion, tradition, and all that. Remember, many of the cultural practices we are talking about, we were not there when they were formed. We don't even know who started these things. Exactly the moment it started, they were forged. But it's easy to say, yeah, it's our culture, or it's our belief, or it's our tradition. Now, that's why when you zoom into it, what is your belief? Your belief is that an elderly woman, fragile, can fly out at night. You get it? Your belief is that children, who maybe talk in their dreams, have gone to a meeting somewhere. Just basic understanding of sleep, and what involves in sleeping and dreaming. So, someone will tell you, they're not talking in their dreams. No, they're at a meeting somewhere. And this is maybe what is going on in that couple. So a child innocently sleeping becomes, we have a case in Nigeria, children, they woke them up in the night because they don't want them to sleep because the parents said if they sleep, they will go to their cover. Wow. A lady told us how she was tortured by the parents. They couldn't allow them to sleep. In the night, they told them to raise their hands. And when they sleep up, the parents wake up, they go and wake them up. So there they go to. That kind of, So this is what they call tradition. It's not tradition, it's stupidity. Yes. We have to call this thing out and call it by their names. Otherwise, if somebody doesn't really tell you sometimes, when you are doing something stupid, you keep doing it.
Exactly.
But sometimes somebody says it, just man this thing, it can make you really think, is this thing really stupid? Now, engage the person speaking. You find out that this person is ignorant. And I think one of us said about power and ignorance when they come together, harm is the next thing. Okay? So, power means ignorance. Because sometimes the people ignorant could be our parents, they could be our guardian. You get it? They could be the chief, they could be the head of the community. Power means ignorance. What is the next thing? So, what I'm saying there is that they should understand that there is the role, ignorance plays a role in this. And that we should not use religion to dignify ignorance or ignorant acts.
Well, they are using religion as their authority. So how will it be possible for them to sidestep the teachings of their religion that actually advocates all these things? I think the Bible says somewhere, do not suffer a witch to live. So, for example, they are following their religion. So how do you tell such a person that, unfortunately, what your religion is teaching you is wrong? Because they put their religion on a pedestal, rather follow their religion. So how would you convince this person to move away from that?
Yeah, but the thing is that is the thing. They have very a kind of very ossified, very, very, very kind of dogmatic, fixated form of religion. Okay? Now, what I'll tell them is they should go back 2022. The Scottish Church apologized for their role in the witch hunt that took place in the early modern era. They apologized for their role. The government apologized. The church, Scottish church apologized. The Scottish government apologized. Go and check it. Now, who brought the Bible we are talking about to us? Is it the Europeans? Hey, man, the people who brought the religion, who brought the Bible we are talking about, they have apologized for their. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You get it? So the thing there is that we should not find a way to keep justifying our stupidity, our barbarism, our ignorance. Oh, because it's written in the Bible. And so what? Somebody wrote the Bible. The Bible reflected their time. And the people who use the Bible to justify witchcraft, they have apologized. And you're still here. Come on. Come on.
Well, you make it sound that it's very easy, but for the religious person, probably they fear the outcome of not going by their books. They feel that they wouldn't be considered saintly because they are not doing as the Bible is supposed to say. So when you say that, well, you need to put the religion aside, then it also means that you are.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. The people, the Scottish church that apologized, they didn't renounce their religion.
Okay.
The Scottish government that apologized, they didn't even renounce politics.
Right.
What I'm saying is that beliefs are dynamic.
Okay.
They reflect their time. The time we had less knowledge about diseases, we used demons and witches and all that to explain. And the time we got more information about the causes of thunderstorm, the causes of epidemics, the causes of other diseases and all that affected us, and we had no clue. Because remember, some of these narratives, they fill the gap. When people really can't make a common sense of it or accept the common sense explanation, they take a leap into the supernatural. And then they blame it on the gods, they blame it on the devil, they blame it on witches, or they blame it on the ancestors and things like that. So what I'm saying here now, I'm not necessarily saying people should quit their religion. But if you actually find your religion not being useful, if it is predisposing you to harm, you can quit. You get it? Yeah. But even if you don't want to quit, why not emulate those who still remain religious or Christians without, falsely accusing innocent people, without falsely persecuting innocent people, like I said, and all that. And that there is a clear example that people who did this before now have said sorry. We regretted it. So if you don't know how to be a Christian today, why not emulate those people? Yeah.
Right. And you started your advocacy from Nigeria, but I know you've expanded across Africa. So which countries do you also do your advocacy in apart from Nigeria?
The thing is that today, we try to respond to any case of accusation as much as we can in any part. In Seychelles, in Ghana, there was this Aquadantes case that was very popular and things like that. So what we try to do is at least to say something. Because before now, when they report those cases, mainly from the believer's perspective, oh, a witch crash landed here, you don't see anybody say, hey, please, can we think? Can we exercise some common sense? There's no voice to condemn, there's no voice to draw attention to the other part. So what we do is that wherever we can, depending on the level of the resources we have, we try to say, please, we condemn this. And we draw attention to the misconception that led to that. Like in the case of Aquadente, we also issued a statement. We'll be working with some other NGOs to see how we can memorialize the woman and other victims. So we try to issue a statement. We send a letter to the police. When the police, when they do well, we try to also commend them and thank them. It's the same case in Zambia and all that. We have a case in Zambia where some people were buried, suspected people were buried alive. Yeah. The victim, the suspected person was buried alive. So when we have such cases, we email the embassy, we email the police and say, hey, we're keeping track of this. In Seychelles, we had a case like that. Also, the opposition leader was accused. In Zambia, the opposition, some people that they say were working with the opposition, they were caught with, I think, what is this thing, chameleon or something? So they said they wanted to kill the president, the current president. So they wanted to try them. And that kind of thing, it was in the news. The president who has the army, who has the secret service, who has every other, the highest, who can secure himself more than the president in the country. Now, some people were accused of trying to use chameleon on a few things to kill the president. That kind of thing. So I was disappointed in the president and all the people managing him and all that people should allow this thing to make the news. But I will tell you that the fear is still there, no matter how powerful you are. So what we did, of course, we tried to condemn and things like that. So that's the much we could do. Now, in cases where we could provide resources, like in Nigeria where I stay, it is very easy for us to send some little money to people. Like as I'm here now, we're trying to get the police to arrest some people who actually persecuted in a manner. And I'm going to tell you the story. What happened? About 2 people died in that village in Ebonyi State in southern Nigeria. So they went somewhere. That's always what they tell us. And I keep telling them I want to go there and find out that they went somewhere, they consulted. They keep using these words that when you hear, you think that they have done something competent or informed by efficiency. You don't know that they went somewhere where they throw cowries on the ground and somebody will be looking at it as if there's something he's seeing when he's not seeing anything. Okay? And all that. So they go there and they came back and they told them that this one guy was responsible. And the guy, according to him, said he had issues with the people on the other side where the deaths occurred. And then we're having the land disputes, we're having land disputes and some people died on the other side. They said that you can see the connection. Okay, good. So and they went to a so-called divine now, whom God speaks to. Do you get it? And God will now say it is that same person. Can you see how this divine has formed a bunch of I don't know which one that internet will permit, if I say it here now, whether it's idiots or stupid. So, there's this thing you say sometimes, they say,
feel free, say it.
So, what I'm saying is that it's annoying because sometimes I don't know a better word to describe these guys. Now, you see what is going to happen. So, when they came back, they gave the guy 2 options. Okay? His name is Kesley. I have the picture, I have the video. They gave him 2 options. So, either they kill him, okay? Yes. Or they parade him, the village and all that. So, but for them to kill him, some people will have to agree. Some will have to agree. So, a lot of people pulled away. They couldn't endorse that. So, they had to parade him. Because one day, I saw a video. A young man being paraded, they tied a rope on him, and women were holding the rope, and he was moving around with his body covered with feces and cow dung.
Wow.
Yeah. This is it. So, Peter, I've been seeing these cases, and when I see it, I will be outraged. Do you get it? And I know what they're going on. Like all this years. And I used to tell people, this is the reason why I came back after my doctorate. This is the reason why I said, you see. So I told them, I said, I sent someone a money to one of our advocates in the state to go and confirm and meet the guy. So he met the guy. And the guy confirmed the whole thing. They sent me video, they sent me pictures and reports. So I told him to give the guy the phone. Because that's what I do. Because first of all, I have to confirm that this happened from the male victim. So the guy said yes. That was what they did. They sent me the background, what led, how they were able to indict him, that because it was a land dispute and the people who died were on the other side of the dispute. I said, okay. So I told them, I said, okay, that I said you should list their names. He listed their names. So we took it to the police. Okay? So when we took it to the police said, oh yeah, very fantastic. Yeah, this is another aspect, another part of the thing now. But that they don't have money to go and arrest the people, that they need fuel and they need a car and all that. So that we need to give them, mobilize them. In Nigeria, we call it mobilization. Yeah. So they don't call it bribe. They don't call it corruption. They call it mobilization. Because according to them, they're stagnant if you don't mobilize them. So if you report a case to the police...
But what if it's true that they don't have the facilities to move? What about that?
Yeah, you see, limited are poorly funded. Okay? But I will tell you another story that went the other way. But this one now, they're poorly funded, we know. But they have made it also a business.
Okay.
So it's not like when they come, they say, okay, we have a car and we have little fuel. Can you add a liter or two? Okay? So it is now a business that when you come, you have to mobilize. Whether the car is there with a fuel or not, they will tell you there's no car, there's no fuel. That's it. Wow. So what we do now, we start negotiating. Okay, you need liters of fuel. We try to fill that gap because these are the gaps that have made witch hunting the kind of the order of the day or the disorder of the day. So our advocate is now negotiating with them to provide them with the necessary transport for them to go and make their arrests. You get it? And this is as of today. So I'm waiting for them to get me a report as regards to the arrest. Now, because immediately you arrest them, negotiation will start.
Okay.
Because power imbalance is always the thing. They get away with this arrest, with this thing. So immediately you call them, somebody start running away, maybe they will run into the bush, and all that and all that. And which is what I enjoy. I actually enjoy coming into their village where they this thing, and they will start running into the bush. I like seeing them, run into the bush. Because if you see where they are torturing an alleged witch, you get it? If you see where they do it with a lot of power, they'll just be doing and strolling and all that. And it's not just in Nigeria. I also see in Kenya. There was a particular one, I'll tell you, I will show you the picture. The guy used a machete and was facing the grandmother, talking, the next day, he just sliced the woman into this. The guy was jailed eventually, they arrested the guy. This happened in Kenya. They do it with a lot of power. But I now want to see them, they start running, they start shaking, because immediately police arrest you, you know very well what it means in Nigeria, because you also have to pay for mobilization. And mobilization, they will carry you back, then they will start extorting money from you. If you want to make a phone call, they will ask you, maybe you pay.
To mobilize for the
if you want to buy food. So, what am I trying to say? This is what we're trying to do. So, in situations where people don't want to be convinced, I tell them, okay, the law will take its part, and when the law comes in, your eyes will open, and you will now know that your belief will not shield you from facing the rod of the law.
Okay, look, I'm getting two things now in terms of, so first of all, what you're doing is for a good cause because you're protecting innocent people.
Yeah,
and
innocent, yes.
Talking about mobilization and other issues of funding that would need to help you in, because it means that you have to self-fund most of the time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so how do you get support from people who might be interested in helping you, saying that, okay, Dr. Leo is doing a good thing, I want to support him. How do they contact you? How can they reach you and help you?
Yeah, well, the thing is that, first of all, we have a Facebook. Occasionally we get some people from, reach out to us via Facebook. We have also a website, Advocacy for Alleged Witches website.
So the name is Advocacy for Alleged Witches.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we have a contact email there. You can reach out to us, okay? So we also have our networks, because one of the things I try to encourage is try to work with networks. So if you really want to reach us, you can reach us.
Okay.
Yeah, if you put it online, with Humanist International, with other organizations and things like, today is not like about 20, 30 years ago. If you really want to reach somebody, before you make a couple of these things and all that. So people reach out to us, and you allow people to donate what they want to donate. Yes. So what we also do occasionally is that, hey, we need funding to address and intervene and all that, because one of the challenges we have is that always being there at the critical time, because time matters when they're accused. If maybe you send the right signals, they'll start retreating. But if maybe you delay, it could be it could be a problematic. Right. So we always want to be in the position to start making calls, because maybe you call the chief. Chief sends signal, everyone comes down. They said, there are people from outside. It may be 2 or 3 of us, who are making the calls. It may be only me, Sometimes when the cases are in court, we encourage them, they start pleading. When they start pleading, instead of overwhelming the person, we tell the person to understand that there are people who are holding the case, that is not the person locally. So we try to provide that power, that buffer, accused people lack, and that made them vulnerable. And when immediately the power dynamic changes, you see that, people start retreating and all that. So that's exactly why we need funding, But we really have to get to the point whereby everybody understands that it's their duty to stand with these people and not relying on us. Because for me, I'm believing that intervention is a short-term strategy. Do I want to do this forever? No, until I die, no. But I just want to make sure we do it to the point people understand that it is their duty. Because I was telling people, for me, it's a movement. It's not just really an organization. Okay? I want everybody in the family to know that it's their duty. But when they're overwhelmed, they could call. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. So, and what we do is that we send them money, transportation, go to the police, and all that. So, that thing that made them overwhelmed, we provide a buffer, and they become more active. And immediately the signal is sent that more people are interested. Like if there's one village now, immediately they hear They see police van. People start running because somebody we're working with told us that he will make sure that anybody, any young person in that community they see must be arrested. Because the youths, they all, they were involved and killed the mother-in-law and things like that. Yeah, they killed a woman and buried her in the bush, and all that. So coincidentally, the son-in-law lives in the US and a medical doctor. So he said that he was going to arrest all that if they go there and see any young person. Yeah. So this is the kind of signal we want to send as much as we can, so that when people, because normally when they are killing a witch, you know what happens? People will surround the place and be videoing. You know that kind of thing. You have somebody they poured human feces on the body, parading, you are videoing the person. Do you know that kind of thing? So we want to make sure that when you see it, you run away, you start calling people and saying, I know that. Or you want people doing it, please, we don't want trouble. You get it? So that's the kind of message we want to send, because saying that we will have the resources to really address all the individual cases, we don't. In the same way. So that's it. So that's what we try to do.
But I also foresee some sort of backlash or risk in the kind of work that you're doing. Don't you feel scared at a point, maybe, that you'll be attacked or things like that?
Yeah, people, they threaten me. Yeah, definitely. They threaten me. Like there are some parts of the country I don't go because there is a pastor there. The lady said that she was initiated into the witchcraft world, then got delivered by Jesus, and that her work and on a mission now to eradicate witchcraft. From one nonsense to another nonsense to that kind of thing. So 2009. They wanted to organize a conference. I said, don't organize conference in the city. Take it to that city where they have that church. And I was thinking that they were ready for dialogue, because I like debates as we are here now. We talk and debate and all that. I didn't know the woman was interested in debate. So we organized the event. So I didn't know they sent spies monitoring when we were about to start. So as soon as I told them, okay, we will soon start. So now people are saying, oh, Jesus this, Jesus that. They start coming in from all the doors. We were looking for guests, so we were mobilizing seriously, trying to pay people to come. All of a sudden, you come and see the whole, our hall was filled with the church members. They took over the item. They started videoing me and all that. So one came with the video. I had a video person. My video person wasn't videoing me. Now someone all of a sudden started videoing me. So at the point I lost my temper. I held the camera. Peter. They descended on me.
Wow. How did you escape?
No, wait. What happened is that I invited UNICEF people, I invited the commissioner of police. Because when I do those things, I try to invite all the human rights agencies. The law I had that day, the representative of the commissioner of police had to call their office for reinforcement.
Okay.
Now, by the time they came to, by the time the police arrived, it's not like Europe where they will arrive in 5 minutes. So by the time
they had to mobilize.
So by the time they got there, they had beaten me up. They took away my bag, took away my my glasses. They broke it and all that. So because they said that I was the one giving their church a bad name. I mean, a witch hunting church. It has a bad name already. I don't need to give it a bad name. So that was what happened. So anytime I'm around, they will be threatening me. They said they don't want to see me in the city and all that. So the witch hunters, you can now see why I don't want to answer the Dr. Witch Hunter. Yeah. Now the witch hunters are not happy with my work. Okay. They believe that what I'm doing is against them, against their interests.
So you are hunting the witch hunters?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Because they shouldn't be there.
Okay.
They're criminal. They should be in jail.
Right.
Yes, they should be in jail. So what happened is that they threatened me. But you know one thing, Peter? This is the reason why people have refused to confront that fear. Step forward. And that's why the thing continues. Initially, a lot of people warned me, you see these people, even my family members, they have fallen out with my family members over this because they said that one day they will come and they will kill me, or if they don't find me, they will kill my family members. And my family members, yes, I'm telling you. So I told them, I said, it is easier to die moving on Nigerian roads than doing the work I'm doing. That's what I told my family members. I'm still here. Look at it. Go to Nigeria today. You see many accidents that will happen on the road. So I told somebody it's riskier traveling on Nigerian roads. And I'm telling you this, I mean it. So now, is it that I enjoy the risk? No. Peter, somebody must pay the price. If you are not ready to pay the price for something, then that change will not come. You get it? So initially, a lot of people were worried. But today, slowly and steadily, I'm building a network in Nigeria. You get it? National human rights offices, like you have Shraj, in Ghana, something like that in Nigeria. They have offices in the various provinces and all that. We are working together. In fact, we're holding an event. We are planning an event in Kano. I'm sure when I say Kano now, it will resonate with other people, because that's the same office that handles other issues, and we're not working together on some other issues, but here now we're going to work together when it comes to the witch hunting things, because they have said it, because I have told them, that look, this is a human rights issue, and you can't keep quiet over it. So I'm working with them. I'm working with FIDA. And we may have that in Ghana to International Federation of Women Lawyers and all that, because I told them that women after the people most persecuted. So of course some of them actually believe in things. So, but because you try to persuade them, they're coming on board. Even some lecturers in universities, and all that. We had a program at one of the state universities, and you know what they did? The head of the department said he used to admire all I'm doing. They had 2 lecture-free days, and that's the best we have got to. 2 lecture-free days. We came into a hall. I was planning about 200 flyers. I saw 500 students. Wow. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So what am I trying to say? Initially, it was like it's too risky. And yet it is. But when people understand that you mean well, that these are innocent people, and who ordinarily wouldn't have gotten any help, and all that, they begin to change. Sometimes they're not interested in what you believe in. Sometimes, even if they hear that you don't believe in witches or God or something, they don't even care, because you know what? They have seen the practical good and benefit. Okay? So, down deep in my heart is that the practical good and benefit will overwhelm the risk. So, I'm always driven by that intention, so that when I see the risk, we try to negotiate. I don't go to communities where they say, I send people, okay, and I mobilize them. So, I understand the risk. But I think that we also need to pay the price for us to get the change we want.
Right. So one last question I would ask is, for the average person who sees these things going on, what would be some tools that you can give to this person to be able to, let's say, either stop such things from happening or prevent them from even happening in the first place? So what are some basic things you think every person should know? How should they go about it if they come across such a thing? How do they deal with such?
Yeah, this is also a very important question. You know what?
The reason I'm asking is, you now understand that it is a bad practice. You are able to tease out the evidences involved in this and go about it. But for someone who might not be skilled or experienced as you and comes across this for the first time, that person might say, well, let me just walk away. But why should that person act in that situation?
I have two phases of ways, or two-phase way to answer this question. First, you know what I used to tell? I used to tell some of my friends, I'm sorry that some of my answers are getting too long, because I've been doing this for a long time, so I've been into a lot. So, because in my old boys platform, they expelled me from my old boys platform, because they were telling me, somebody posted a video of a woman on a roof. They said, this woman crashed landed. I told them, I said, you are a priest. Is that what they taught you? You read philosophy. Is that how you're applying it? So I took the guy up. They were like, what are you saying? Are you saying there are no witches? I said, which witches? Did they teach you this? So I confronted them to the point. They said that I was offending their religious sentiments. And you know what it means? Yeah, you know the next thing. They don't kill you. So eventually they expelled me from there and all that. You know what I told them before I left? Until it affects your mother.
Right.
Until your sister is a victim. Because that's what I have noticed. Okay? Then now there's a woman. If you go to my WhatsApp group, there's one lady there. The lady just went to stay with the boyfriend. In the night, the boyfriend took maybe some iron or something and broke the skull. Yes, and drained the blood. Okay, because of there is this belief in Nigeria that you can use those things to produce money. You get it, and all that. A lot of people are being killed. You get it. In fact, there's a particular video I have. The man killed the child, his own child, for ritual purpose. Okay, so it's common. When I say it's common, everybody in Nigeria, everybody knows about it in Nigeria. And if you watch Nigerian films, you see how it is tailored.
Yeah.
I don't watch them. I don't watch them. Only Kenyans and Ghanaians will tell me about Nigerian films. I don't watch them because you know what? It will never end without going to the chicken. We turn to a human being. A human being turns into chicken. You know that kind of thing. They're good. You know that kind of thing. Or you'll be sleeping. Somebody will come in. I know that kind of nonsense. So, so what I'm saying there is that the lady was killed, and the poor woman is out there now trying to find justice. Okay, so this is the first thing. First, don't wait till your sister is a victim before you do something about it. So what I do is that I see, in quote, that lady being killed as my sister.
Okay.
More importantly, as a human being. Okay, you get it? I know that. The woman as my mother, as my sister, as a human being. So we should see that if this thing is happening to any human being, we should be motivated to do something. That's one. The second part of my answer is that you can always do something better. Yeah. Nobody is completely helpless. A text message, a tag, just something you do a little thing, all of a sudden the situation. There is one little thing you can do that will change the situation as a life. So everybody. So immediately you see it, find something you can always do. Sometimes you could appeal to the people there. Okay. Sometimes you could go on Facebook and tag her. They're trying to kill somebody in a day. Please, is anybody who could help? You know, that kind of thing. Any little thing you can do can help. Because it is that little information that gets into the hand of somebody, life is saved. So always feel that there is always something you can do. Yes, feel empowered. There is something you can do. And like I said, the first one, don't wait till it happens to you because that will be too late. Like that, when I tell them in Nigeria, you can't turn human heads to money. You cannot go somewhere and do abracadabra like they do. Because what they will tell you that they open the door and they saw a human skull vomiting money. And what do they vomit? Naira. You can see the value of Naira. I told them that even if I want to build ritual money, will I do it in Naira? In Naira, if you bring 1 million here now, it will fill the whole house. Do you get it? Paper. I told them, why can't you people do it in pounds? They will look at you like a fool. Do it in euros. Do it in dollars. They will not. They will do it in Naira. And I say, this is not real ritual money. Do you get it? So that's what I'm telling you. So the whole thing doesn't make sense. When you say they dismiss you, and I tell them, don't wait till your daughter is murdered by people with this misguided notions before you can act. Immediately it's happening to another person's daughter. Act as if it's happening to your daughter. Act as if it's happening to your mother. You get it? And let me tell you, when you do it that way, you will see that if everybody cultivates that habit, even if it's up to 30 to 50%, things will change. But what happens is that, you may never know now. That's what they say in Nigeria. You can never be sure. Are you saying rituals don't exist? So because of that, people become very sensitive. They don't care. But immediately it is their mother. They say, hey, where is Leo? Please come and help. I say, come and help now. It's late. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So what am I trying to say? We should not wait till somebody close to us is affected. And there is always something we can do. You get it? And that little thing, do it. It may resort to saving the life. It may also result, nothing may come out of it. But somewhere in your mind, you tell yourself that at least you did something.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leo, the hunter of the witch hunters. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And hopefully you will have discussions. You mentioned that you would like to, you don't want to do this for the rest of your life. So maybe we'll talk about the other things you plan.
Yeah. Eventually, we only talked about this thing. We didn't talk about critical thinking. We don't talk about free thought music. We didn't talk about.
We'll do that another time. When we have more time.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Right. Thank you.
Good.